This morning, I want to talk about translating ideas into money, or translating ideas into results. Money is, it's a metaphor for results, or results is a metaphor for money, one way or the other. And here's the thing: when you translate ideas into money, you have to have an idea. The idea of turning it into money can't happen unless you have that idea in the first place. Now, for most people, when it comes time to make money, they think the first thing that comes in their mind is, I got to get a job. And the process that I wrote in my book, and I'll reach down here and hold it up a little bit. The process that I wrote in my book, I wrote this a year and a half ago. We're going through version 2.0 right now, but the process I wrote in this book works for getting a job as well it does as if you're a small business owner or an entrepreneur, and you are tasked with creating products and services that generate revenue. Now, some of the other results you might want some more time. You might want to be more efficient. But the clients that I work with that are successful, it's not a money issue, right? It's a lifestyle issue for them. They don't have enough time to go on vacation. I've got clients that have worked their fannies off for years, and now if they leave, the business stops. They can't service their clients, and they can't take a vacation. And so the result, for some people, is time, right? But it could be money, it could be marketing system, sales system, leadership system, hiring system, any number of different things. It's about translating ideas into results and translating ideas into money. And it works if you get a job, or if that's your idea, and it also works for entrepreneurs and for business owners. So for 27 years, I worked in big corporate, and I worked with some pretty large corporations, and I ran a $500 million a year construction management firm. But that company left, and they went to Dallas, and I had to start over again. So I joined the Focal Point organization back in 2010, and for the last almost 9 years now, I've been working in the small business arena. Why? Because, hey, I wanted to be able to manage myself, just like what small business owners want. And I've learned over time, what it takes, because there's a lot. It's different. It's not corporate and small business, not the same. But here's the question for all of you out there, right? So who here has everything done and buttoned up and nice and tidy by the end of the day? Who here has more time than they know what to do with, and they want to, they can sit around and watch daytime TV? No one! Nobody in the business, entrepreneurial, small business owner space has time for that kind of stuff. Time is the one thing that will impact your ability for translating ideas into money. If you don't allocate some time, if you don't give some time to A, come up with the right ideas, and B, execute the process, you can write it off. It doesn't happen. It can't happen. So I want to share a little bit about time with this principle that I learned with the Focal Point guys. Right? Okay, so we're going to go to my iPad here and do our best to eliminate reflections and all that other kind of stuff, right? So I'm going to come up here, and I know if I tip it, there we go. Maybe that's it. Okay, so notice the Focal Point logo. Yeah, big fan of those guys. They help me a lot, and I think I'm in the right place, and you can see it. Bear with me here. I'm going to move around a little bit until I get this right. All right, so this Focal Point's company I was with, they're a great group, and see if we can't get some of the reflection off of you. And okay, tipping the thing all over the place. Okay, 3 Eyes of the Business Owner. All right, this came from Michael Gerber's The E-Myth Revisited, and that is Entrepreneurial 101 reading. If you have to turn this thing all over the place, there's got to be a better way to do this. If you haven't read that book, then you should get that book. You should read it, because it should be required reading for all entrepreneurs. There we go. I'm getting a little bit more centered. All right. So what Michael talks about, and the book is all about Mary. Mary wants to open a pie shop, and she's opened a pie shop, and she's been wanting to be a baker since she was a young girl, baking pies with her aunt at the holidays, and all the aromas and all the feelings and all the emotions. She's like, this is exactly what I want to do. And the story opens up with Mary in the pie shop. She's in the bakery, and it's 11 o'clock at night, pretty late. Some business owners, we're there at 11 o'clock, but she's there at 11 o'clock at night. She's covered with flour. She's got to make 50 pies. She's got to box them. She's got to get them all ready for delivery. She's got to restock. All the employees, they went home, right? And she's pissed off because that is not what she signed up for. That is not the business that she wanted to run. And so Michael then shares these 3 different I's with her. So he says in the beginning, and I'll see if I can't get my finger to work here, right? There we go. Hey, it is working. In the beginning, you have an entrepreneurial mindset. And the entrepreneurial mindset, this is where business ideas, services, and products are formed. I'll bring it back down, and I can step over here for just a second. And so in that entrepreneurial space, this is where services and ideas, services and products are born. A very outwardly focused mindset, focused on the market. What does the market want? What does the market need? We ask ourselves some questions like, what if, or how can I? Those are the questions in the entrepreneurial. And that's how ideas and products and services are born. Have to have it, right? All right. So then as you start to sell this business, oh, this is going to be way better. You have to shift into the manager role, right? And I think you can see that. All right, I can take that back and I can step in here, and that way I don't have to worry about holding that thing up all over the place. When you shift into the manager role, once you start to serve your marketplace, once you start to get customers, you have to shift into the manager role, and you have to look at some different questions, like it's when and how many and how much, right? And if you don't manage this business effectively, then it's not going to work. You're not going to generate the results that you're looking for. Okay, so then what happens, there's one more role, and this is the role that Mary's in. Okay, let's come back here, and Mary is in this role. Now that role is called googly eyes. Googly eyes is when you are the owner and you, the entrepreneur, right? And you are the manager and you're the technician too. That's what we really call the technician role, right? And here's the thing about the technician role. The technician role is typically low value, or it's the service delivery. Depending on what kind of business you're in, that technician role might be you and it might be somebody else. But a lot of times we look at these low value tasks. And we all have them, especially if you're just starting a business or if it's early on in your space. We have these low value tasks that the technician does. And we think the misnomer is that the business owner thinks that, hey, if I do those, I'm saving some money. I'm here to tell you that is not the right idea at all. It doesn't work. You're actually costing yourself some money. So watch, here's how it goes. All right, so with that technician, we make a list of the tasks that we might use for a technician, right? But understand these are low value tasks, right? And there's an hourly rate associated with that. Maybe it's a salary, but chances are an hourly rate. And in this exercise, we're going to use $15 per hour. Now, here's the thing about that rate is that it's a market-driven rate. It's market-driven to the extent that if you don't hire the right, if you don't pay enough, you can't get the right talent. And if you don't get the right talent, you won't get the work done. So the market drives this rate. If you pay too much, that's generally called bad business, right? Unless you have some special strategic reason why you're doing that. If you pay too much, it's typically bad business. All right. All right. So then let's take a look at the manager role, right? So the manager role, again, these are management value tasks. Management value tasks might be financials, AP, AR, accounts payable, accounts receivable, purchasing, scheduling, things like that. Right. Now, again, another hourly rate. Now we use when I do my analysis with my clients, I use a 2,000 hour rate. It makes it easy to calculate hourly rate to annual rate. So hourly rate here, it's going to be more, the manager might be managing those technicians also, right? Okay, so now let's just say this rate is $25 an hour. And here's the thing. Oops. It is also a market-driven rate. It's a market-driven rate because, again, if you were to hire this role for your company, then you would have to make sure you pay enough so that somebody could come in and have the talent do the work that was necessary to be done. And if you didn't pay enough, you wouldn't get that. And if you paid too much, again, bad business, unless there's a strategic component. And I won't give that up, right? All right, so that is the manager role. Now let me get through these last couple roles and I'll show you why you doing those low value tasks is such a train wreck, right? Okay, so now we get the entrepreneur role. That's the last one that's here. There we go. And that's your high value tasks, right? And there's an hourly rate. Now, who do you think sets the hourly rate for the entrepreneur? Yeah, the market doesn't set it. You do. You get to decide how much you want to earn running your business, right? So let's say you want to make $100 an hour. $100 an hour is pretty reasonable. That's $200,000 a year. I'm based in Southern California. You could afford to buy a house and take care of your kids and family there. But here's the thing. That rate is whatever you set. You, the owner, the entrepreneur, get to set the rate that you want. That's it. Nobody else gets to tell you what it is. The market doesn't drive that. You might be selling widgets, but if you sell a lot of widgets, you can make a lot of money per hour, a lot of money per year. You get to set that. Now here's the rule. Here's the rule that as we come back in here, right? If you want to make $100 an hour, you have to do tasks that are worth $100 an hour. If you're doing tasks, those technician tasks, those low value tasks, then you're doing tasks worth $15 an hour. And here's the thing: if you're doing tasks that are worth $100 an hour, then you could certainly pay somebody else $15 an hour to do those. And if you're doing tasks that are $15 an hour, you're costing yourself money. You're costing yourself a lot of money. I mean, so let's just imagine the difference between that 10 and 15, or $100 an hour and $15 an hour is $85 an hour. So let's say that you do 10 hours a week of low value tasks. 10 hours, that's $850 in difference. And then 50 weeks a year, you're doing 10 hours a week. That's $45,000 that you're giving up on because you're doing those $15 an hour tasks. $45,000. Now, understanding, and again, you can do your own calculation. You can message me here, and I've got a little email worksheet process that you can dig into. But the reality is that if you have this opportunity to make $45,000, would you make a small investment to do that? Would you buy? I mean, two ways you can get rid of those technician tasks or reduce the technician tasks, right? There's technology and people. So would you make an investment? I mean, let's say you could hire somebody at $15 an hour, $30,000 a year, and you would still come out $15,000 a year ahead, $15,000. But would you invest a couple $1,000s in a new technology system, right? That you could be more efficient. Because again, we just want to reduce the number of minutes that we spend on that. Even if you cut that in half, that's $22,000. I mean, still big money. Now, here's what I find out, right? Now, everybody understands this once you see this, and I hope this was valuable. I hope this was helpful. If you want to move from the technician role, if you find yourself in that space, then what you do is you make a list of all of those tasks. Make a list, a good list. Maybe do it over a course of a week so you catch them all. And then you just start to identify which ones you're going to transition. Is it the easy ones? Is it the more valuable ones? Again, you have to put together a plan to transition, but that's your idea. The idea is to transition those things to another service, a better technology system, or a person, or a virtual assistant, any number of different solutions. And I can't give you all the solutions. You have to figure that part out. But the idea is, how do I get after that $45,000? Now, the other thing I find out is that, when we look at this, say, okay, there we go, that's all good. And the idea makes a lot of sense, transition out of those things. But what the heck are those high value tasks? So my clients often don't really understand. They know how to do those low value tasks. Those are easy. They don't even have to think about it. But those high value tasks that are worth $100 an hour or $150 an hour or $250 an hour, they don't know those. What are those? They don't know what those are. And that's where the ideas are. That's where the ideas are. If you have those ideas, then you could turn those into money, right? So we got a one-day business blueprint coming up, and it's next week. Message me here or send me an email, john@businesswit.com if you're interested. Got 20 seats available, and it's all about those ideas. It's all about generating those. It's about building a business plan, which includes your goals, short, medium, and long term. And what are those ideas? So then you can take this process, execute the process, and generate the results that you're looking for. So the thing about this is that time is critical, and we all struggle with it. We all deal with time poverty. And I just want you to realize that when you start to shift things around like that, then you will then make up some time. Even if you make the investment and you switch to technology and it saves you 5 hours a week, what would you do with an extra 5 hours a week? I know I would have some fun with that extra 5 hours a week. I know other people that would turn it around and spend it on their business, but it's up to you how that works. All right. So next week, we're going to do these trainings once a week. Next week, going to dig a little deeper into the process. But today was really all about time, because that's the first most important thing. And the next week we'll, and I have to tell you about the one-day business blueprint. It's June 28th in Irvine. If you're interested, message me back here. I'll send you the details on how to register. We still got a couple of seats left. But this is a full day dedicated to building a business plan and creating those ideas. Got a nice workbook. It's going to be a day full of breakthroughs. So cheers to your success.